For some reason today, we had a lot of people missing from class, and so I'm going to reproduce part of that lesson today so that you can get caught up. Basically, we went over how to connect chords that were a third apart and how to connect chords that were a step apart, and you'll have to catch up on that part. I'll mention it here and I'll even review what it is, but we're not going to go into a lot of that. And then we said, well, let's figure out the chords to this melody and employ all these connection methods that we've learned to basically harmonize this in 4-part harmony. Now, we don't have words, so that won't work. And you're going to have to miss out on the part where we said, here are the chords we're going to use. And we actually reasoned through them, tried them out, listened to them, and decided maybe that we liked them this way. And we were using chord progression rules for that. We're just going to have to burn through. So we did this in class. I'm going to do this and explain it in some detail. And then you're supposed to do this part for out of class, but I'm going to do it because first off, people that were in class need this for feedback to make sure they did it correctly. And secondly, it will help you learn and get unstuck if you're stuck somewhere in the homework. And then if there's time, we'll go and finish it up as well. Okay, so it's just a simple melody, and the chords are, I'll just play this. So at the beginning, I'm just block chording the left, but it's then a C7 chord. Change these notes there. That's a typo. It's just right. So the B flat and the C chord. Now we're on this line right here. And then last line. So, having gone through why we chose those in class, now we're just gonna start putting these things through. And the first thing I want to point out is that if you know the different methods, you know what your options are. Like for instance, this is all on the same chord right here, and so when the melody moves, we're talking about move with soprano, contrary motion voice exchange, and similar motion voice exchange connection methods, right? And in this first one here, it's got to be similar motion voice exchange. I mean, we could always not use one of the formulas and just make it work without breaking too many other rules. But to see how this one skips the A and goes up to the C, so skipping a chord tone is a leap of a fifth, that can only be amongst the formulas we have similar motion voice exchange, where the alto and the soprano exchange voices going in the same, or pitches going in the same direction, and the bass and the tenor do nothing. Right? So that means that if this is going to go up to a C from the F, the alto is going to go, sorry, F to the C, then the alto is going to do the same thing like that right there. And then remember, we need to have two roots, a third and a fifth, and in root position, because we're just using formulas right now. So that means that I need an A, which will be there, and my F will be there because we're in root position. And the connection method for similar motion voice exchange, right? Similar motion voice exchange is soprano and alto move in the same direction, changing pitches. This is done when the soprano makes a large leap, and then the bass and tenor do nothing. They just stay the same, right? We can build backwards and just start from that position because it's just a repeated melody note, okay? And since the chord stays the same and the melody stays the same, there's no reason to revoice. So we just move this over like that. Okay. Here, the soprano is coming down one chord tone. We could do move with soprano and move everything down, or we could do contrary motion voice exchange where the soprano and the tenors move opposite to each other. And in class, we chose that because this is a little bit of faster piece. And so soprano and tenor move in opposite direction, changing C to C, A to A. And then the alto and the bass stay still, doing nothing, because, and this is good when we go fast, because then it's very stable. Only two voices are jumping. They're all going up and not all going down. I mean, we can do that, but it gets unwieldy, and this is simpler. And then since it's the same chord here and we're going back in the opposite direction, we're just going to do the same thing, right? Okay, good. So this was contrary motion voice exchange, and same thing there, right? Okay, now Here's where we get our first sort of, hey, this is a little different. Up till now, we've only been able to do triads, right? And this is a C7 chord, C, E, G, B flat. So how do we use the connection methods for this? Just pretend that that B flat is another C, okay? So just pretend it's not there. It's an alternate note. We'll change it to the B flat when we need to, but just go with as much of the original formula as you can. So C, F to C is a fifth or a fourth apart, depending on which way you're going to jump. So we're going to use common tone, non-common tone. We're not going to use tertian leap. It's not relevant here. So let's just try common tone. Common tone would be root to root. So the F is going to go to the C in the bass, right? And the common tone is C, which would hold over. In this case, though, we're going to retarget it to the B flat because we'd have C, C, E, and G, but this is going to be a B flat because we threw the seventh on there. So just pretend that it's there, but it goes to there. Okay, and then the other two move by step in the same direction to complete the chord. And so we're not going to go up because this would go to another B flat and that would go to a G and we wouldn't have an E. We're going to step down. The F goes to the E. This goes to the G. We check it. We have a C, an E, and a G. And then what should have been another C is the B flat. So we're good. And it's going to sound fine, I think. It's going to, from the beginning, it's going to be... just fine. Okay, now, this is a non-chord tone. We're going to skip it for a minute, and we're just going to pretend it's not there. And we're going to go from here to here, okay? And you can even pretend that this is a C for right now, if you want, just not the B flat. And again, we can do move with soprano. Everything moves with the soprano, and the bass stays the same because it's in the same chord. Or we can do contra motion voice exchange, because these two exchange the pitches one like this. This is going from the B flat down to the G. We can take this up to the B flat there, pretending it's the C, because it's the seventh of the chord, right? And then these ones all hold over like this, right? Like that right there, okay? So see how that works? Now, we can do a couple basic things with here. We could leave this one there and leave that one there, right? And we could leave this here and then jump up. We could jump up ahead of time, or since this is coming smoothly down and smoothly up, we could do the same thing. And this is what we did in class. We tried these all out, and we decided that we'd like to complete the voice exchange by having both parts go like that, tenor and soprano. Sounds nice. And then we said, well, this could stay here on the E because that's the way this goes, or we could harmonize up to the F, which would give us an FAC, which would kind of give us another F chord in here, incidentally harmonizing the non-chord tone. We tried it both ways. I'm going to play it with the E straight in there, right? So we went like this. And we go, right? And that sounds just fine, but then we played it with the F in the alto. So there, and now it moves up to the F. We liked that sound better, okay? So what was the upshot or takeaway from this all? First off, you can use your formula to get across, and then you just adjust the notes and do as much as you can. We used our formula here as well. It's contra motion voice exchange. And then when we got to this non-chord tone in the middle, we customized and went with what we liked the sound of, but it made sense to us because an F chord is going to sound better than not. Well, I guess it depends on your choice of flavors, right? And then from here to here, we're going from C to F. So again, we're going to use common tone, non-common tone, tertian leap we're probably not going to do, right? You can pretend that that note is a C for purposes of the formula. So the formula is root to root, right? Bass goes up there like that. Common tone, which is the C or the B flat right there. And we're just going to pull it up to there like that, because it pretend it's a C, hold it over, right? And then the other two notes move in the same direction by step to complete the chord. And if we did this right, we'll have an F, F, A, and a C. Now, some people with a little more theory might go, well, this is the seventh of the chord and likes to go down by thirds. Yeah, but we have a line that we're using right now, and we like it. It's also on inside voice, so it's less critical. It would be fine if it went down as well, because we'd still have root and third, root and third. But, you know, if you play this and you sing them I think they sound just fine. So we're like, this is from the C7, right? And then there, or there, sorry, like that. And if we sing the line from here, it's like mi, 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 so, mi, re, mi, fa, so. It's completely singable. It's going to be perfectly fine. Okay? All right. You can connect from here to here, but since it's the beginning of a new phrase, you could also just say, I'm going to start over, like with whatever I want. You could revoice. And I think since this has got the same leap here of a fifth, we're going to do this again. It makes sense because we already know that we wrote it once and it's going to be fine, right? Works. But also the singers are going to, they're going to know this sound, right? And so there we go. And then this is going to be the up because of the similar motion voice exchange, right? And then this is going to be the same and the same because these two voices that are not involved in the voice exchange just hang out nice and stable while these ones move. All right. If you were in class, you know how to do this connection method. If you weren't, I'm going to explain it real quick. This is called what I like to call super common tone. Remember, common tone was like common tone holds over and the bass goes root to root, and then the other two notes move by step in the same direction. Okay, and that's for chords that are a fourth apart. Well, this is for chords that are a third apart in F and A minor R, and it works like this: root to root. So I'm gonna jump down here. It's a leap of a sixth. We could go up to the A, but I think I'd like some space. It's acceptable. And then the next thing you do is the two common tones between the F chord and the A chord hold over, right? So we're F, A, C, and this is A, C, E. So these are my common tones right there. That one held over. Here's my A, it holds over. And then the last one moves by step to complete the chord and the chord doubling. We have an A, and a C. What we need is the E, so this is gonna step down just like that. Super common tone because two common tones hold over, right? Play it from here. It's going to sound different than the first one. Actually, I'll play the first one right there. The first one is, right? And then over, right? But now if we do the second one and we change this to a different chord because in class we decided that we wanted some variation the second time. So here we are at the beginning here. It's going to sound really similar because it's the same connection method. But then we get this. Right? Opens up. It's very nice. Okay? Now, I'm going to be a traditionalist here. This was contrary motion voice exchange right there. I'm going to do the same thing here. Contrary motion voice exchange. The soprano and the tenor changed, going in opposite directions, swap pitches. And it's nice because we did this before, right? Now the chord's different. It will sound different and yet similar. And apart from the alto and the soprano, the basses being on different notes because it's a different chord, this is the same thing that happened. It's really quite cool. So we get from here to here, right? And it's just, again, it's a contrary motion voice exchange, right? Works. All right. We're going from A minor to B flat. These are a step apart. You may have missed this because you weren't in class, but the way that this works is whichever way the bass steps, the other notes go in opposite direction. Okay, it gets us out of what we call parallel fifths and things like that. Now, we're going to have a problem here because the melody does not cooperate. In other words, if I move this bass up a step right there like that, okay, then all the other voices should move in the opposite direction. That's the formula. But our melody has not done that. Gosh darn it. Okay? So, but we're still going to do as much of the formula as we can. So these are going to move in the opposite direction except the melody. That's going to go there. This is going to come down to there. And we're going to have a B flat, an F, a D, and a D. Now, we have all the chord there. But because this didn't go down like it's supposed to, we ended up with not 2 roots, a third and a fifth, but root, 2/3 and a fifth. It's fine. It's fine. By using most of the formula here, we avoided any what would we call them, like accidents. I'm going to play from right here. It goes right, and then right, and then this is going to step up, and these are all going to come down, and, right? It's fine. So from here to here, again, we're going from our A chord like this to this. It's nice. I like it. Okay. But what to do? Because this is not set up in the right formula, right? Like, because we don't have 2 roots, a third and a fifth, we have a root, 2/3 and a fifth. You know, we can't use any of the formulas anymore because they're predicated on that. We'll just get funny results later. May I suggest at this time that we just use this opportunity of this coming down here to not do anything other than to let it come down, right? So my bass is going to stay there the whole time. I mean, you could think of it like moving with soprano, but not everybody does the job. This is just going to get back down to the B flat, and then we're going to be ready to go to our next chord right here, okay? Now, I think if we just bring this to here and bring that to there, we have adjusted. We're not root, third, fifth. Now we'll be root, third, fifth. So that's probably good. I think the only thing now is, do we want to harmonize this with anything, right? And we could try. We could bring like this up to the E and this up to the G, like we kind of did here, and maybe that would sound good. I'll try it. We'll see. You always have to test this out. So I'm going to move both the tenor and the bass up to this, and then back to here. It's okay. What if I just left them all there where they were to begin with? That's more stable. Depending on how fast we go, right? That's just the upper voices, but the bass and the tenor stay the same, or maybe the bass and the alto stay the same. Well, I for one either like them all just staying the same or just bringing this one up and then down again, which is what I think I'll do. It's a nice compromise. These go along, it's nice and steady. This comes up and harmonizes with this. I mean, it fights against that a little bit, but then it comes back down, and play this again. Right there as written, it goes like this. Yeah, like that, and then works, okay? This is customized because it's an encore tone, but we used as much of, you know, our fundamentals. Now, B flat going up to C, again, it's going to be a problem because it's supposed to be step up, right? And then it's supposed to be everything moves the opposite direction, okay? And if that's the case, then we're going to get an E there and a C there, and this should come down to the G, and it doesn't. And in fact, later we'll learn that these are called parallel octaves, okay? And they are considered something we don't want, because we don't want this sound in the, you know, go like this. It loses that. Now there are ways around this. You could invert this chord so it's not bass, always root, and so it could come from the outside going like this, right? Or you could invert this chord and have it go somewhere else. You could change the melody, but the melody is what we want. The third option, of course, is, so I'll say it again, we could invert it so we're coming from the D down to there, right? So it's not a root position chord. We could change the melody, right? Or we could change this and make this get to a note that's not like the root of the chord, or we could even like hold this over and then move up, something to delay or obfuscate this relationship. But the other thing we could do is say, we recognize that there's a broken rule there and we don't care. That's maybe the right thing to do. I don't know. We'll try it out. We'll try it out. Let's see what happens. I'm just going to play this to there. So we're here like this. We go. I don't have a problem with It's fine. It's not that we can't write this so that no rules are broken. It's that we can't use a formula because the melody didn't follow the formula and it caused this if we use the formula. Maybe that's okay, right? Later, when we do what we call free writing, we'll talk about ways to break through this. In fact, we probably will revisit this and say, what else could we do differently? But, you know, if you choose to do this knowingly, just make sure it sounds okay the way you like it, okay? Now, again, this is the end of a phrase here. So I'm not going to try and connect 3 C's and an E using a formula to here. I'm just going to start over here and I'm going to make sure that each one of these things is singable because they're going to take a breath here and reset right there. So let's try this. This C is going to be up at the F. This is going to be down to the low F, and this one here is going to leap up to the A like that. Okay? It's a little bit tricky, but I think with a little, practice will be fine. Spacing's good, range is okay. And here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do move with soprano all the way down, I think, because this has got to get all the way down into there. So we're just going to do this. Now, I think that in this case, because I don't think these need to go down anymore, we're going to do move with soprano here. They all move down like that. And then we're going to do contrary motion voice exchange. This goes from the A to the F, F up to the A. This stays on the C, this stays on the F like that. Right? So we're using contrary motion voice exchange on the second half, move with soprano on the first half. Considerations are mostly just because of range and, oh, I can't reach this on the piano very well. There we go. And then to here. But then we're going to go contrary motion voice exchange to there. Like that. Okay? Moving from here to here, it's a fourth or a fifth apart. We have to use common tone, non-common tone, or tertian leap. We're never going to use tertian leap except in extreme cases. You can try common tone and see if it works. And then if not, we use non-common tone, or maybe you know the hack for this. Common tone would be the C holding over. This is stepping up, and this would step up into not the note that we want. It's not going to work. Again, let me show you. Root to root, common tone holds over, and then this is stepping up to there, and that would step up into B flat, which is not part of the C chord. We don't want a seventh here. So it's going to be non-common tone, which is root to root, and everything moves in the same direction as the soprano to the next chord tone. That goes up to there, this goes up to there, and now we have C, C, E, and G. Works just fine. Okay, coming from here to here, now we can use common tone, pretty sure. This goes to there. I'm going to get up a little higher. Am I going to go down? No, I'm going to go down again. We're just going to make this be texturally different. So common tone will be root to root. The common tone holds over like this right there, right? And then they both move in the same direction to fill out the chord by step. So F, C, F, A. Okay? And I think we might be stuck doing only move with soprano here the way this is set up, because to do contrary motion voice exchange, these would have to change pitches and they're not in the right place to begin with, but that's okay. Move with soprano, that moves down, that moves down, right? This stays the same, okay? Move with soprano, because this is going down to the C from the F, this can't go up to the F, so this is going to go down to here, and this is going to come down to there, like that, and this is going to be like that. And then we look at common tone or non-common tone. So first off, root to root. Let's just look at common tone. Common tone would, oh dear, this is the wrong chord. What have I done here? It was supposed to be B flat. My bad. Okay, so B flat. Okay, so the common tone is the F, that would hold over, and then these two would move in direction. So B flat, F, B flat, and D. That works just fine. So common tone is going to step up and become a B flat right there. Okay. Getting over from here to here, you could say we don't need to connect because it's a kind of a new phrase. Because we're going like, and then, but I think we'll just do from here to here is a third. That's super common tone, right? So that means we go root to root. That's going to be the D right there, right? B flat to the D. And then the two common tones hold over. Well, B flat, D and F, and D, F, A. It's these two notes right there. So the D is already holding over. The F is right there, so it's that one right there. And then the last one, this B flat right here, has to move by step to give us the notes we need to fill out the chord. We have a D, and we have another D, and we have our F. So this B flat has to roll down to the A, like that, okay, to get us started. All right, and because it's a non-chord tone, we're going to do exactly what we did before. We're going to pretend it doesn't exist and connect from here to here, and then we'll try and fill in the middle. I think since everybody's so low and the soprano is going up, we're just going to move with soprano. So that's going to go to there, that's going to go to there. It's going to fix potential dangers in spacing. This is going to stay there on that. And then we have to decide what we're doing here. I think we're just going to leave that there because there's no smooth way to get there, so they might as well jump the fourth. But I think that could be successful, stepping up like that in thirds, so you get the tenor and the bass line, or the tenor and soprano going right, while the bass and the alto do this, right? So it would be right, so it would be and then yeah, that'll work. That's nice. Okay. Now this isn't going to work here. And let me explain why. Again, our formula for this would be if this steps down, then everything else, moves opposite the bass and steps up or goes up to the next chord tone, and the soprano's not doing that. So here again, we have a problem with the soprano not obeying the rules of the formula, and so we can't apply there. Well, what do we do? First off, I'm going to go root to root. Now, this here is a mistake called hidden or direct octaves. Sometimes they're called direct. And that's when the bass and the soprano move in similar motion into an octave or a fifth. In this case, an octave, and the soprano skipped. That's a mistake. Oh well. How do we get out of it? I think the best thing to do would have been to move up to the C, from the C to the E right there. Like, so we go like this. Right? And this would be an inverted C chord. And that would be the way to fix it. I'm not going to do that here because it's fine. Like, we have our parallel octaves here. We have our hidden direct octaves right there. We have a funny doubling right there. Even if we break these rules, if you don't hate the way it sounds, it's good, it's fine. Like, you could say a better pair of ears, more sophisticated sort of hearing would say, oh, I found that, I can hear that error in there, and that's a problem. True, sure, but it's speed, and if you're trying to get this done on spec, then you're going to write fast, and you're going to be like, acceptable. We've seen places in some of the Bach chorales where he does consecutive fifths or stuff like this, and he just, he has his reasons for it. So we're going to kind of play the same game here, I think. Well, we kind of want a third and a fifth. That's fine. It's fine. So, like, if we did this, there's a problem in that we don't have a third, and it might sound really bad, like an open here, but the next note is the third. I'm just going to try from here to here and see what I think about it. Maybe in the end, grabbing the third and the bass is the right way, but I'm not going to immediately say no to here, right? So we went, and then, from here, yeah, you get parallel octaves there and you get parallel fifths there. That's a problem. It's too much to my ears. I think the solution here is to just bring the bass to there. Make it B to the E. This becomes a first inversion chord. It gets rid of this problem and this problem, and it gives us the third of the chord as well, and that's fine, right? Okay, so formula didn't work, not acceptable. We come up with another solution. You don't know about these rules in first year yet, maybe. That's fine. We'll understand why, and you'll go like, oh, that was that problem we had. So from here, we have a C and a C, and a G and an E, right? As we move here, I'm going to actually pull, what would we call it, like a voice exchange here. Soprano goes from C to E, and basses are going to go from E to C. It's not the normal one that we're used to where it's tenors, but that gets us back to root position, right? And the other voices in this pattern, they stay where they're at. And now look, we're C, C, E, and G. We're back to where we want to be, okay? So you can see that some problems are solved by breaking the formulas. Sometimes the problems are just ignored, and it's fine, okay? So let's just finish this out now. We're going from here to here. This is going to be a problem too, probably. But we can get from here to here using common tone. So we're going to go F. Well, maybe it's not going to be common tone. F, C, nope, that'll work. Root to root like this. Common tone holds over, and then this moves up by step like this. This is going to be a problem though, because this is supposed to go from here, like step up, and these are all supposed to come in the other direction. Melody's not playing the game anymore, so we have to reset ourselves here. Now, there is a problem that if we go from here to here and there to the D, then we have this parallel fifths problem again that we're talking about here. We have to custom job this. You, as a first years without these free writing part rules yet, you don't know what you can and can't do. But I'm going to do this. I'm going to end up being here like this, coming down to the B flat, and like that. So with the exception of this leaping, I'm still going to follow the formula, which is this steps up and everything goes off of the bass movement. In the end, we get 2 Gs and 2 B flats. So 2 roots and 2/3, no fifth, and I'm perfectly okay with that. It's okay, right? And we just sort of have to custom to get to here, okay? We know at the end we're going to have a C down at the bass, and we have to fit in another C and another E right there, right? And I got a feeling that it's going to look like this, just like that, okay? Probably. So how do we connect that? Well, you could do nothing, but I think maybe if we go G, and then we go maybe GG and B flat. And this is going to be a B flat against an A. That's going to clash a bit, but I think it might be okay. I'm going to just play it and see what happens if I go like D and B flat there and leave myself on the G right there. So I'm here like this, and I go and I leap up to there, and then yeah, that might be okay. So I'm from here, then I go to here, and then I go to my C from there, and yeah, that's probably fine. It's good enough. Okay, so this is going to go to my B flat, go to there, like that, and this is going to stay on my G, like that. All right, so again, we had to figure out stuff because soprano doesn't play well. Sopranos are the root of all problems. If they just follow the formulas, they'd be error-free and really boring. I'm glad that they're making some mistakes on our behalf. And then we're going to go from here to here. This is not going to work with common tone. I know this because there's my common tone, and if this moves down by step, this moves down by step, it ends up on a chord, on a note that's not part of the chord. This is going to be non-common tone. I'm going to go from here, and I'm going to say everything moves down with the soprano. This is going to come down to the A, like that. So I could spec it out because I could see if this is my step and this is my step, it would go to a non-chord tone. It's not going to work. So not common tone. All right, that's it. Now, if you watch through to here in class, that's good. Really, it was this here. And then we were going to work on this in class. Because we're behind a little bit, because some people in class have missed, we're going to only be able to talk about this a little bit, and then you're going to have to watch this video and then finish up like that as well, because we have to catch up as we move in on chord progression. But I hope you've seen how the formulas can help us do so much, and even when we come up with a non-standard situation, the formula can still work. And even when we have something interrupting, the formula can help us, right? And sometimes, like, the melody won't do what we want it to do for the formula, and we do everything else and it's fine. Sometimes the melody won't do what we want it to do, and it's a problem, but we ignore it anyways because the benefits are still good. And sometimes, I hope that was in camera, I was talking about here and here. And then sometimes the melody doesn't do what the formula is going to ask you to do, and no matter what you do trying to follow the rest of the formula, it just doesn't sound very good, and you have to kind of go YOLO. And we stepped up and grabbed the third there, which eliminated the other problems. You can see there's solutions to everything. Don't think, oh, formulas don't work. Formulas got us 90% of the way through here without thinking too hard, and it sounds really good. Just formulas don't always work. Sometimes you have to improvise around. So after we get these mastered this week, then we're going to introduce you to what all these rules about hidden and direct fifths and parallel fifths and consecutive octaves and all that kind of stuff are, and that those, you know, how to find them. And then what we do is we use formulas where we want, and then when they're not working for stability's sake or voice leading, we don't like the line or something like that, then, you know, or if it comes to a problem with soprano not agreeing with what's going on, then we YOLO it, and we have rules that we say we can do anything, but we should probably avoid doing this or that, right? And they help guide us away from experimental voicings or movement of notes that cause problems, right, in the fabric of the music in the universe. All right, good.